Good evening and welcome to the third in the series of learning Lightroom Classic the easy way. Today we're going to take this particular image that has got some faults attached to it. It's not cropped all that well. It's pretty dark. What we want to do is reveal some detail. And as from lesson 2, we learned how to create and apply presets. And what I'm going to do with a click of a button is I'm going to apply a preset to this image. So if I go up to the presets which we created in our last video and do one click, and that one click effectively revealed a tremendous amount of detail, but the image needs to be cropped, and I think a square crop on this image would be more appropriate. So we're going to go to the crop tool. I'm going to click on the crop tool, and we're going to get up the familiar rule of thirds. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this little handle here using my mouse. I'm going to grab this handle and pull it in. I'm going to pull it into around about here, where I think that the image is a little more interesting. And I'm going to pull it in from the other side just slightly. And I think that that particular configuration is more appropriate for this image. When I click the button, I have made the crop. But what we're going to do now is we're going to effectively review the bottom of the screen. And you see these icons have appeared. And this icon, this little one with the dotted line around, that signifies that we've cropped this image. Okay, so if we were to click on this button, we would be able to go back to the previous image and see what we've done. And if we didn't like it, we could effectively use the movement of these handles up or down to amend our correction. Okay, but in this case, we're happy with what we've got. Now, Lightroom and Photoshop are connected. They're connected because the two pieces of software can effectively talk to each other. And what we're going to do now is we're going to send this image across to Photoshop. We're going to carry out some changes in Photoshop, and we're going to send it back to Lightroom, where when it comes back to Lightroom, it will come back as an additional file, and this file will be a TIFF file. Okay, so let's go up to Photo, and let's edit in, and by selecting Adobe Photoshop, whatever version you currently got will appear here. In my case, it's 2022. So if I click on that, then this image will now be transported in the cropped format across to Photoshop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to carry out a couple of changes in Photoshop and send the image back again. What I want to do is I want to go back to my raw editor, and if I go up here to my filter, and I can send this into the raw editor. And we're not going to lose any detail at all, because what we've done is we've sent a raw file across, and that raw file is now become a TIFF file in Photoshop, and effectively we'll lose no detail whatsoever. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to increase the texture, and I'm going to increase the clarity. Okay, and I think that will be enough just to demonstrate that the image can indeed. Well, let's go into some color grading. And if I go to my highlights, and I want to make the sky a little bit bluer, so I can move the to around about there. I'm happy at that particular point. And now I'm going to say OK. And what I'm going to do with this image is I'm going to send it back to Lightroom. Remember, Lightroom has got a catalog feature as well. This also means that we'll be able to know that all our TIFF files have been Photoshop amended. We go up to our file. You have, up to this particular point, been instructed to save file as a copy or save file as. In this case, we're going to just use save. Okay? And when we press save, that will now effectively be transferred to Lightroom. And if I just go to the Lightroom icon, switch Lightroom on, I will now see that I've got, under this image, I've got two. I've got 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. So if I click on this one and press F on the keyboard, right, this is the file prior Photoshop, and this is the file with Photoshop. And as you can see, you can make changes by crossing across the platform. If you're more comfortable doing something in Photoshop, you now have a route in order to fulfill that task. And you can still have the benefits of using Lightroom.